There was a time when suburban life felt like the finish line, the goal everyone was chasing. A quiet neighborhood, a simple home, kids playing outside until the street light flickered on. It was supposed to be the reward. After escaping the noise of the city, a promise of peace, safety, and a better life. But underneath the picket fence and manicured lawns, life was anything but quiet. Families struggled behind closed doors, caught between dreams they couldn't quite reach and realities they couldn't quite control. The chaos wasn't the exception, it was the rule. And nowhere was that chaos more perfectly captured than in Malcolm in the Middle, a world where every day felt like a battle, where love came loud, messy, and without apology, where scraping by was a daily art form, and humor was the only real weapon against the endless disasters of working class life. At the center of it all was Malcolm, too smart for his own good, too stuck to ever fully escape, and too stubborn to stop trying. He saw the flaws, the madness, the contradictions, but he was still part of it, shaped by it even when he fought against it. This wasn't just another sitcom about a quirky family. It was a mirror held up to the forgotten middle. The families who didn't fit the postcard but made something lasting anyways, out of noise, out of laughter, and out of sheer stubborn survival. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button and check out my other videos after this one. And follow my new Substack in the link below for more personal reviews on TV shows that I watch. And now, without further ado, let's explore Malcolm in the Middle. Chapter 1: The Chaos of Suburban Family Life. Back before technology had dominated community life, there was a sense that living in a suburban neighborhood was the dream. Getting out of the chaos that came from living in an urban neighborhood and settling into a quiet life was something many people aspired to. It might be a hard concept for the newer generation to grasp. How could anyone live so far from a big city, disconnected from much of society, and removed from a constant presence of technology? But at the time, it made sense. Suburban living was seen as a retreat, a chance to slow down and embrace a different kind of life. Now that same suburban ideal is often looked at with disdain. It's easy to reflect on the choices that brought us here to the shift in perception. Shows like Malcolm in the Middle capture the tail end of that era, when suburban life still had its own kind of vibrancy. Knowing everyone in your neighborhood, kids playing on the streets, keeping your front door unlocked without the worry of being robbed, these were once staples of suburban living. That doesn't mean suburban life was free of chaos. In fact, Malcolm in the Middle thrives on that contradiction. The family at the center of the show embodied a very specific kind of chaos, the kind that makes you laugh from a distance but cringe at the thought of living next door. As viewers, most of us would probably agree we wouldn't want to be their neighbors. They're loud and unpredictable. Each of the kids seems to find joy in disorder. You can't help but wonder, how do Lois and Hal keep producing delinquents? But that's exactly why the family works so well on screen. Their chaos is entertaining, and it speaks to the part of us that secretly wants to break the rules, stir the pot, and not care about the consequences. Life in their neighborhood is approached almost heuristically, interesting to observe, but exhausting to live through. To their neighbors, it begs the question, why tolerate all of this? Chapter 2: Working Class Representation Done Right. The working class in any society serves as the backbone of the community, a foundation that goes underappreciated yet holds everything together. These are the people whose daily efforts keeps the gear of society turning, and yet their stories are frequently overlooked or simplified in media. In recent times, when the working class is represented on screen, it's usually paired with an overt social commentary or used to push a specific narrative. While commentary has its place, the raw, unfiltered portrayal of everyday life tends to be buried under heavy-handed messaging. This is why shows like Malcolm in the Middle stands out. It offers something rare, a depiction of the working class that feels honest, relatable, and refreshingly embellished. Rather than turning the family's financial situation into a constant political statement, the show focuses on the lived realities of millions. Families trying to make ends meet, balancing bills, limited food choices, and finding joys in the small luxuries they can afford now and then. For many viewers, this resonates on a deeply personal level. The series portrays a kind of financial struggle that's not rooted in despair, but in resilience and humor. The family doesn't wallow in their situation. They work with what they have, love each other fiercely, and find happiness despite their limitations. That's the true strength of its storytelling. Malcolm in the Middle doesn't romanticize poverty, nor does it exploit it. It humanizes it. It shows that a lack of money doesn't mean a lack of dignity, intelligence, or happiness. And in doing so, it gives a voice to a community that is too often spoken about rather than spoken for. Chapter 3: The Brothers as Mirrors of Chaos and Growth. By the end of the series, Lois and Hal have given birth to 5 children, with another tease to be on the way. This growing family isn't just a comedic shock value, it's central to what makes the show tick. Each brother is crafted with clear individuality, and that distinction becomes crucial to the narrative's success. If they were written as one generic troublemaker kid archetype, the show would lose much of its depth and become the most boring story to tell. In essence, the 5 brothers mirrors the show's core theme. They're the storm that follows the calm. They disrupt the traditional ideas of a suburban family, not out of malice, but from a raw, uncontrollable energy they each channel differently. Every single one of them has a unique personality, yet they all share a strange affliction, a compulsion to cause chaos, often without fully understanding the ripple effects of their actions. What makes them so captivating is how their mischief is tailored to who they are. One might use intelligence, another brute force, and another pure unpredictability. They aren't a single unit moving in sync. They're a collection of misfits, each adding their own spin to the family's ever-swirling storm. And despite their age difference, from young adults to elementary school, they each represent a particular stage of life where identity is forming, where limits are tested, and where chaos is not only inevitable, but necessary. Their growth, messy as it is, reflects something real. Their learning often comes through disaster. Chapter 4: The Normal Genius Amongst the Misfits. Malcolm's life is far from what we would call normal. His intellect sets him apart as an anomaly amongst everyone he encounters, including his own family. From the pilot, we're introduced to a wide range of characters who inhabit Malcolm's orbit, each reflecting different facets of the world he's forced to navigate. Among these characters are his Quail-boing classmates, portrayed through exaggerated, almost stereotypical lens. The show presents a variety of students, those with rich parents who maintain little emotional connection with their children, others with overprotective parents whose smothering love creates new emotional challenges, and those burdened by high parental expectations, leading to constant disappointment. These caricatures cleverly emphasizes the absurdity and complexity of the environment Malcolm is placed in, highlighting the emotional dissonance even among supposed gifted peers. Ironically, surrounded by these exaggerated flaws, Malcolm emerges as the most grounded amongst them all. He possesses the rare ability to see and operate within the real world, to navigate life with a clarity that his peers lack. Yet this very ability isolates him even further. Unlike his classmates whose dysfunction allows them to blend into the insular world, Malcolm's intelligence and awareness casts him out, making him an outsider, not just among regular students, but even amongst other gifted kids. At home and within the social circle shaped by his family, Malcolm's experience is no less alienating. His family offers no sanctuary. He is the outlier, the children who doesn't fit in. His brilliance makes him the target of heightened expectations, yet it brings no real recognition. Instead, he is often relied upon excessively, while simultaneously being dismissed or overlooked, treated no better, and sometimes worse, than his less academically gifted brothers. Ultimately, the narrative positions Malcolm at the center of a chaotic solar system, with various characters revolving around him, some drawn straight from recognizable stereotype born out of parental failure, others more grounded in the grim realities of working class life. This complex mixture creates the unholy matrimony that defines Malcolm's world, a life that is anything but ordinary. Chapter 5: From Sitcoms to Coming of Age Drama. Ask yourself this: out of all types of television genres, what does the sitcom truly do better than any other genres? The answer is representing our lives, but wrapped in what our life is filled with, yet rarely expressed generously: humor and laughter. Malcolm in the Middle represents how meaningful our lives can be. It shows the lives of a middle-class family who always seems to get into some sort of trouble, and yet they're happy, in their own way, of course. Their life might lack the expensive luxuries that other genres use to set aspirational goals, but the humor in the series is what makes it so compelling. The comedy masks the life struggles that the series represents. It's easier for most to relate to these characters because we're not indifferent to them. In many ways, we see ourselves in them. As each brother begins to grow up over the course of the series, it reflects a journey familiar to the audience, navigating adolescence, confronting responsibility, and facing the harshness of the world. But what sets Malcolm in the Middle apart is how humor becomes their armor. It's not that the pain or the chaos is absent, It's that laughter gives them the resilience to endure it. Unlike many coming-of-age dramas where characters undergo a defining transformation that points them towards success, the series resists that new resolution. Instead, it's a story that captures life as it really is, messy, unpredictable, and oddly beautiful, sustained by the small persistent spark of humor that keeps us moving forward. Chapter 6: The Ending and the Next. Malcolm in the Middle didn't pull any punches. Whether the jokes were about race, disability, family, intellect, stereotype, class, or even relationships, the show tackled them all head-on without hesitation. After spending 7 years immersed in Malcolm's life, beginning with his discovery that he is, in fact, smart, we witness a powerful transformation. Malcolm learns that being intelligent doesn't guarantee privilege. Unlike his classmates, often portrayed as stereotypical gifted kids, Malcolm stood apart. The brutal truth that came from these stereotypes of Malcolm's peers highlights just how emotionally and socially troubled they are. Without academic success, they would never be able to survive, let alone fit into society once they leave school. Malcolm, however, has lived through both the highs and the lows of ordinary societal life, portrayed through the lens of comedy. The show confronted many societal issues without pulling any punches, something that sets Malcolm's experience apart. He is the kind of person many viewers can see themselves in, someone who has endured the same struggles and realities that everyday people face. But what sets him apart is his intellect, a rare gift that combined with his life experience gives him the potential to change not just his own life, but the lives of others as well. As Malcolm matures, so does his brothers. Francis, though still at odds with Lois, finds stability in a job. Reese stumbles into his own form of success, while Dewey, no longer the youngest, now steps into the role of the oldest sibling at home. Despite Malcolm's huge potential, he's grounded by the experience his parents, especially Lois, pushed him through over the years. This lesson, something that can't truly be taught without living through it, is about resisting the desensitization to money and greed. Instead, it's about using the hardships of growing up in a middle-class family as a foundation for doing good in the world. Unlike others who only pretend to care about the middle class, Malcolm, having truly lived that life, possesses both the intellect and the real-world experience to make genuine difference. Even with all that, smarts and knowledge, he still has lessons to learn about life. As he begins to accept that, he steps into adulthood, changed from the ego he once had because of his intelligence. It leaves us believing that he has truly grown up, and with that growth, he could become a beacon of hope, trying to make the world a better place, not just for himself, but for everyone. However, with the rise of reboots and sequels, there is a lingering question. What will the new miniseries do to the show's legacy? Will it continue Malcolm's journey with the same important lessons and fearless storytelling? Or will it fall into the trap of sanitizing its humor to avoid offending small groups in today's more cautious comedic landscape? There is a real concern about whether the show will still have the freedom to joke about certain topics the way it once did, especially now when comedy often feels restrained. It's hard not to worry whether the new series will shy away from the fearless humor that made the original stand out. All we can do now is hope that the creators stay true to what made Malcolm in the Middle so special and don't end up watering it down. Whether the sequel miniseries will honor the spirit of fearless storytelling or retreat into a safer territory, only time will tell, but one thing is for certain. The original Malcolm in the Middle gave us something too rare and too real to ever be forgotten. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you soon in the next review episode.